the election is a few days away.
Yeah.
Well, a week and whatever.
Yeah.
What's your reading of it? What are we to expect? Your reading.
Nothing. Let us expect nothing.
Really?
Because nothing will change. Ghanaians will go back to the ballot and choose either the NDC or the NPP.
And go back to our old lives again.
Exactly. I mean, when has one of those choices changed Ghana? Never. This year won't be any different.
That's an interesting angle.
There is nothing new on offer. We've seen it all, we've heard it all. And you see, unfortunately, the reason why Ghanaians continue to return these same two parties to power, one after the other, is because we think voting is betting.
We think voting
is betting. We want to put our vote on the winner. Because you see, if you bet on the winner, you get a return, don't you? If you put your money on the one that wins, you get a return. Voting doesn't work that way. You only get a return if you put your money on a good choice. That's when you get a return. So it's not about who wins. It's about who is best. But if you focus on who will win, and I'm voting for this guy because he will win, or worse, I won't vote for this guy because he can't win. That is much, much worse. So sometimes a candidate presents himself to you, you listen to what he says, and you think, this guy is actually good. He actually makes sense.
Yeah.
He's actually offering to do things differently from how we've done them for decades. But he won't win. So I'm not going to vote for him. Are you betting or voting? So unfortunately, as long as we continue to think of the ballot box as a betting shop, we will continue to get nothing out of our elections. Just a couple of parties taking turns to come and spend our money. That's it. So if you ask me what to expect, I'm sorry, but nothing. Because we are going to return one of those two. It's going to be NDC or NPP. So really, how is your life going to change?
Not based on their promises, manifestos.
Okay, these promises, are they any different from what they've been promising us every year?
Yeah.
There's nothing different in there. Somebody says he's come to do a 24-hour economy. Don't get me started on that thing. Another person too says, digitalization, you're hungry, they are digitalizing you. So, really, which of these two is promising to transform Ghana? And in any case, they have 4 years. So which of them can transform Ghana in 4 years?
He will transform Ghana.
Who?
Alan.
Yes.
There's a transformation plan.
Yes, he has a transformation plan, right? Now, let me be fair to them. It's not that these promises don't make sense or these ideas that they are proposing don't make sense. They do. They do. But I think that on one side, they have proved that regardless of how sensible their promises are, they will not carry them out. Or they did not carry them out for 8 years. On another side, they've come along and demonstrated that all they know how to do is repackage old meat. That is it. Every time they come and repack. Look, I don't want to go into the detail of it. Otherwise, I'll sound like I'm giving specific critiques on specific candidates, and then somebody might think idea of different. Again, I won't suggest to you who to pick, but look, if you want something new in your life, vote for someone new. I think that makes sense.
If that someone new is not telling you anything worth expecting,
then
and it's the same old, you are
discard them.
But at least we haven't tried them before. Let's try this.
No. Please be confident in your choice. Make it based on something of value. Pay attention to what they are saying. And if you find value in someone new, vote for them. What I'm saying is that if we return the same old two, then we know there will be nothing new. I mean, that one guarantees you 0 results. Or unfortunately, if you pick the wrong one out of the two, guarantees you worse results. But I'm saying let's consider these new ones. Is there someone in there who is saying something that makes sense, who we think
For
that
you, is there?
there are a couple. There are a couple of options we should pay attention to. I mean, forgive me, I won't let you lock me down to,
I know. I wouldn't even try.
to breaking the electoral law and announcing who I'll be voting for. But I think there are a couple of names in there that we should pay attention to, at least.
You don't mind voting for anyone, even if you know they won't win. You don't mind because you're not betting.
Well, if I don't vote for them, then they definitely won't win. So I'm happy to vote for someone who I think
Could
offer
win.
us something new. I don't care about whether they win or not.
Okay.
In fact, I'm hoping that everybody will think like me and vote for the person who I believe will give me a return. Right? The person who I believe will actually improve my life. If I'm voting on that basis, then I'm not thinking about whether they will win or not. I'm just voting because I think this guy will improve my life. And if all Ghanaians do that, then who knows? One of these new people could emerge. And I mean, that would be a fantastic day for Ghana. I think it would be. Yeah. So if we want someone new, let's vote for someone new.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying 100%. Except that it's a bet. I'm sticking it. You're betting. Why am I going to stake? You're going to just go embarrass me.
Yeah. I mean, look,
So,
I wish my vote was a bet. I wish. I think it would make things simpler. You know, then I just calculate the averages, who's going to win, then I back the winning horse. But it's not a bet. It's not a bet because if I back the winning horse, I don't get a return. If it was a bet, when I back the winning horse, I would get a return. But it's not. So if I pick Mahama or Bawumia and one of them wins, and it's the one I picked, I don't get a return because my life won't improve.
but if you vote for your conscience,
Then hopefully we'll get something new because for our lives to improve, we have to do something different from what we've been doing so far. Because what we've been doing so far has not improved our lives, has it? So we have to do something different.
quickly. So do you believe, and people have said it, all two are the same, we need a third force. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, we need more forces. I wouldn't limit myself to just a third force. I think the more choices we have, the better our final option will be. The more good choices we have, the better our final option will be. So we need a third, a fourth, a fifth choice, a fifth force. We need credible people to come through the system who are not beholden to the existing parties. So that once they win, they don't have, a team of black-suited businessmen sitting in the next room waiting for contracts to clear all the money that they spent on them while they were in opposition or the money they spent to fund their campaigns. There's no such group of, no such conglomerate of contract winners sitting in waiting to come and determine the whole agenda of the nation for their pocket's sake. Let's just get someone who owes nobody to come along who has positive ideas for this nation. Then if we have to give him 4 years, 8 years to do something new in our lives, then at least we know that we are on a path to restoration.
So if you bring a third force and it's the same thing, it's coming from the same stock, where do you win? So
I get your point. I mean, if and I suppose we're saying the same thing in different language. So yes, if you keep voting for the same thing, you will keep getting the same results.
Yes.
So if you go and pick a third option that is exactly like the first two, you won't get anything different. The way in which a third option can be good for us is if that third option is not like the first two. Then it will be good for us. Right? Now, how can they be different from the first two? Well, I would hope that if they didn't come into power with debt around their necks, if they didn't come into power beholden to some faceless people who will now determine who you appoint, who will determine who gets contracts, so that these decisions, and by the way, these are the decisions that change a nation. Who is appointed, who is contracted. So if a person can come into the office of the president and make those decisions without being in debt to some people who are serving their personal interest, And so he can make those decisions with the interest of the first force in mind. Then we would win. That would be a difference. That would be someone coming from the same stock, but giving us different results. That would be Nkrumah. Nkrumah came from us.
Yeah.
But boy, was he different.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah. So I certainly live in hope that one day the first force would become intelligent enough, analytical enough, and brave enough to put their vote where they will get results, not just behind the one they think will win. It's not a horse race. It's an election.
Let's look at the picture, a big picture, Kojo. You know, here, even to be able to run as a presidential candidate and run a successful campaign, you're talking about the neighborhood of like, what, $100 million? Crazy money.
Yeah.
You know, you need people to back you to go to where you're going. And the very fact that you are beholden to these people who are backing you, doesn't that question the whole system? Are we going to, how do we do it now? Because that's the system we have.
Yeah. You're right. You see, because it costs so much money to run a campaign, what these two parties do is they pick the easiest way to raise that money, which is to go to the people who have it, you know, sitting in their bank account today. So they can go to 3 people and get that money. But then it just means that the next 4 years belongs to those 3 people.
Yeah.
So if someone is willing to do it the hard way, because there is another way to raise money. You can raise it from the first force. You see it happening in more developed democracies like the United States. Barack Obama did it to, I mean, great applause. You can raise the money. It's hard, but you can raise the money in a way that doesn't leave you indebted to people who pursue their interests over the public interest. If the money came from the public, then it's their interest you have to serve, and that's okay. That's a debt you can live with. You know, so that's the hard way to do it. And I mean, if somebody applies himself and achieves it the hard way, he's earned my vote.
Show some love, man.